Hey everyone. I wanted to share something today, and a lot of you know that I was fellowship with a couple men and one man for over 6 years, and I felt very close with a man because I've took my walk with Jesus Christ very seriously as he did, and when I was cast aside for being political, um, that it really destroyed me. It took me a long time emotionally to bounce back. But I have to say that now I can actually laugh at the people. I can laugh just how ridiculous they actually are because I'm not threatened by their spiritual viewpoint of going to hell or this type of thing. Their cognitive dissonance, the way that they look at things. I'm no longer threatening that. I'm not ensnared by that. And you've always heard it said that you can't talk about religion and politics. Well, the reason is because of what I what I was just saying about cognitive dissonance. Um, the way we feel about things politically, the way we feel about the Lord. This has to do with our personal beliefs. And that's why you can't talk about religion or politics. But actually, as Dr. Gross once told me, that's the two things that really make a difference in our lives. So we ought to be able to talk about it objectively. But the problem is people can't be objective when a lot of times when they get steeped in their beliefs, or when they go overboard, when they get out of balance with how they see things. And so this not only applies to politics, but it also applies to our faith. And so it's dangerous putting my phone over here. It doesn't squeal. So it's dangerous to get caught up in our own understanding, our own conceit, which the Bible talks about. And so I wrote some things down here today um, under clouded judgment. And I write, have you ever met anyone who is so clouded in judgment that they could not see any good being accomplished for the cause of Christ in the world? Have you ever met anybody like that? Because they're so biased in how they look at the Lord that they can't even conceive of anybody doing the right thing aside from how they think. I mean, that is conceited to say the least. Um, I immediately think about two brothers who, despite any good the president does, I'm talking about President Trump, such as what Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced, the establishment of International Religious Freedom Alliance this month, a coalition of 27 countries around the globe that have committed to a set of principles that include both the respect for the freedom of conscience of their citizens and the advocacy for religious freedom abroad. On the list are nations representing North and South America, Africa, Europe, the Middle East, including uh, Senegal, Ukraine, Israel, Albania, and Brazil, among others. So this is what I think this country should have been standing for, and people for years, instead of letting the globalists, the Marxists, crush the humanists, crush Christianity, finally we have a coalition of people that are going to protect people for their faith, and that's only right that a Western nation do that, quite frankly. And you know what? If you hate a president so much and you accuse people of confusing him with Jesus Christ. That's really sad. And I'm also going to put a link in the bottom there about is Trump our king, if you'd like to read it, because it speaks to this, which another guy wrote. I'm back. You know, anyone with a balanced mind would understand the difference of following the Lord and what the Lord allows or disallows within the world, but not a snowflake or Pharisee. They couldn't see it, as they could never accept what is considered outside their own mindsets. This is cognitive dissonance I'm talking about. Yeah, a religious Pharisee isn't going to accept anything outside of what he thinks, and neither is a snowflake. Somebody might get their feelings hurt if they could dare look at something else differently than what they normally look at it like. And this either applies to politics or religion. It's the same thing because it's belief bias. Um, anyway, these brethren I was talking about have made up a whole following of anti Trump malcontents and using the name of Jesus Christ to justify their hatred of the world, which should be read, others who don't agree with them. And when they got tired of me sending them money donations, and heard all my testimonials of the Lord, which they enjoyed, they discarded me and my viewpoints with self fulfilling prophecies of being chastened of God when I got an affection to my heart. For my political viewpoints, don't you know? This is the type of thing which happens when confusing one's faith walk with others who may disagree with you, and that these others can't be the Lord's people as they don't see everything like us narrow roaders do, or should I say, narrow minders. I get this on my chest, and I'm wondering, can anyone else see how diluted this disciple thinking is besides me? It is simply delusional spirituality, and it bolsters itself by pointing out errors in doctrine using other churches. Just because other people's doctrines may be unsound and negate proper doctrines does not validate more unsound doctrines at the other end of the spectrum. I call this type of thinking spiritual delusions of grandeur, which I said as much to the man, by the way. And it is out of balance with the scriptures and bases one's own conceits and pride. And so that's what I wanted to say, and I wanted to show the ridiculousness of how these people operate. And so I'm going to put the link down here to Is Trump Our King, which is a little more rational thinking. And just because somebody accuses you of being political doesn't mean that they're not. As a matter of fact, most people I've met that said they're not political, really what they're saying is they're ill-informed. They don't wish to be informed. But they do have opinions still, and they use it to attack other people that don't agree with them. And I don't care whether it's political or spiritual, because this is what these idiots do. It's really it's really strong delusions. They're just fooling themselves. And the thing is about people like this is they mislead a lot of other people that may be weak in the faith or young in the faith, and it's a very dangerous thing. But like I said, I can laugh at it now, but it's still really it just still amazes me how self righteous these people are. All right, good day.